Soul and Vibe Interactive Incorporated is an innovative video and computer games company focused on developing and publishing standout games. Joining us in our New York studio is Tony Chiodo. He is Soul and Vibe's CEO and president. Tony has more than 22 years experience in the video and computer games industry as an award-winning director of product development and producer. Welcome to New York. Welcome to New to the Street.
Thank you, Ken. I appreciate it. It's nice to be here.
It's our pleasure having you. So let's talk right about what your company does. Talk about the games and how you bring them from here to here.
Sure. So we're a publisher of digital content for games, interactive books, and for music. We are licensed by a couple of very specific hardware platform manufacturers. So we're one of only 60 companies in the world that have been licensed to create content for the Xbox platform. We're also licensed for Sony for the PlayStation platform. And I'm happy to announce today that we recently signed on as a licensee of Nintendo. So now we'll be working on products for the 3DS system and for the Wii U system as well. In addition to those licenses, we have a couple of licensed brands that we work with. So specifically, we have a license agreement with General Mills to do sports-themed games that are branded by Wheaties, and we have access to their line of breakfast cereal and food product mascots. And most recently, and this is what I'm really looking forward to talking about today, is our relationship with the John Deere Company. We're licensed by them to do games, entertainment apps, interactive books based on their agricultural equipment, their construction equipment, etc.
John Deere, the agriculture.
Yes, yes.
So how would you make an agriculture game? Like, what would you do in terms of the most vegetables you can pick or harvesting?
So farming simulations and construction simulations always tend to do well. Several years ago, I was working for a Nintendo licensee in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and we at the time had a John Deere license, and we spent $250,000 on a Nintendo DS game that had the John Deere brand, and that game went on to do $4 million in revenue at retail without a Walmart presence within 2 years. We licensed that game to a huge French publisher in Europe for European distribution, and 6 years later, that game was still selling equivalent $30 full price in the gaming shops over there. So it has a universal appeal, not only as a brand, but also the subject matter resonates well with customers.
That's fascinating. Yeah. You heard it first on New to the Street with John Deere.
Yeah.
Now, the gaming industry itself is worth billions of dollars.
It's supposed to be $82 billion by the time we hit the end of this year.
And Soul and Vibe's publishing strategy is?
So our publishing strategy is really to set up a complementary system that is focused on content that is digitally distributed. So we focus on games, interactive books, and music. Earlier this year, we actually started 2 small publishing labels. The first is Soul and Vibe Music, where we use the music that we create for our games and apps as really a revenue-generating marketing vehicle to draw awareness to the other products that we make. And then using interactive books, we're getting into that space, specifically featuring the John Deere brand for right now, as a way to help to build reading confidence in young readers. And so we're doing that with some of John Deere's proprietary characters, and we'll use that as a way to not only cement our presence in that space, but then also to open that up for other games and apps that'll use different aspects of what John Deere has to offer.
Now, how do you anticipate the growth for Soul and Vibe coming forward 6 months, and what's your vision for the company over the next 2 to 3 years?
I think that the secret sauce for a games company is to set up what's known as a reoccurring release calendar. And basically what that means is that we want to have multiple things in development at any given time, which then we can spread out across a calendar year. And that really does a couple things for us. So the first is it gives us a steady stream of revenue generation opportunities, which is wonderful, obviously, for cash flow. The other component is that it also sets up some very nice newsworthy events. So things like when we announce a title, when we launch a title, we talk about some kind of a licensed partnership we have. All of those are very tangible. There's no fluff in any of the press releases that we do. And I think that resonates with people, seeing that we live very much in a show me versus a tell me world. I think as we move towards our goal of setting up that recurring release calendar, it'll let us go more deep in specific categories in the book space, in the music space, and in the gaming space, and help us build brands.
If somebody wants to buy a Soul and Vibe product, where do they go?
So right now everything is digitally distributed. We have our games offered on Facebook. You can also go through the App Store for your iPhone, iPad, or iPod Touch. Our first ebook, The Johnny Tractor and Friends County Fair, is available on Amazon, and all of our offerings are also available on Google Play if you have an Android device.
Last question before I let you go. What do you think the biggest perception of the gaming industry and at the same time misperception of the gaming industry, I might think.
I have to laugh when you see TV shows where game studios are presented as a bunch of guys always running around playing air guitar shooting Nerf guns, because that's not something that I have necessarily encountered a lot. I mean, we like to have a lot of fun, but there's a lot of very hard work and dedication that goes into that. It's a creative enterprise, and so there's a lot of give and take with ideas, just like any other kind of an enterprise. But it's one that's been very good to me. I've had 25 years experience doing it now. I can't imagine doing anything else, and I'm very fortunate to have Soul and Vibe taken me to the next level of my career.
Well, we thank you very much for joining us here on New to the Street, Tony.
Thank you.
We hope you come back to us.
Thank you.
And keep us updated here in New York about Soul and Vibe. And thank you very much.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Ken. Thank you very much.
It's our pleasure.
Thank you.
If you want to learn more about Soul and Vibe, visit soulandvibe.com.